And so I'll start with good morning and welcome to CSL Texas Hill Country, where we teach people spiritual practices to live by. And I'm Beth Warren, the spiritual leader here, and I will be bringing you the lesson for today. You know, the founder of religious science, Dr. Ernest Holmes, once described the science of mind teachings as the correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelations of religion, all combined to meet the needs and aspirations of humankind. And I like that description for a couple of reasons. First, I love the idea of weaving together science, philosophy, and religion. And second, I particularly love how practical it is. And both of these things are true for all New Thought teachings, whatever umbrella they may fall under, whether it's religious science or unity or divine science. They're all part of the New Thought philosophy. And this beautiful New Thought teaching that we are in is not just spiritual theory or theological rhetoric that we contemplate on Sunday morning and then go live a life starting Sunday afternoon, disconnected to and unaware of who we are and whose we are and the power that lives as us. Rather, it is practical, hands-on way of life that supports us in meeting our needs in this human experience. Oh, but not just meeting our needs, it's so much, much more. It is a practical, hands-on way of life that supports us in attaining our aspirations and achieving our dreams and realizing our heart's desire, experiencing the experiences we wish to have, being the people we came here to be, and touching the world in ways we are meant to touch it. So my friends, this entire month, we're going to explore the question of what are our aspirations and our dreams and our heart's desires. What are the experiences we wish to have? Who is it that we came here to be? And how is it we're called to touch the world? We can find answers to those questions in the answer to another question. What would I love? Now, this is an interesting question, isn't it? And how many times do we actually ask ourselves that? More often than not, we ask questions such as, what should I do? What can I afford to do? What will people think of me if I do? What do people expect me to do? Do they sound familiar to you? Well, this month, we'll look at the idea of living a life we love and loving the life we live. And remember this, embed in your conscious awareness, life itself, which is a capital L, life wants, yearns, longs, desires to be expressed as and through you. The Cloud of Unknowing is a book of contemplative articles published in the 14th century, in which an introductory line says, a soul is one with God. In it, it says that you think your desires are your desires. You think that they came from within you, but actually that is not true. Rather, by the time they reach your conscious mind, they are the echo of spirits of life's desiring to express and experience itself by means of you. Let me say that again because I think it's important. We think our desires are our desires. We think that they came from within us, but actually that is not true. Rather, by the time they reach our conscious minds, they are the echo of life's desiring to express and experience itself by means of us. And if we don't express them, they will look for another opening where the experience can be made. Have you ever had a great idea but didn't do anything about it because you didn't see how and didn't have the time or the resources, or didn't think you were good enough, or didn't think the time was right, etc.? and then later see it come out as some successful product. I really want you to get this morning. So say with me, my desires are the echoes of life's desires to experience itself by means of me. Again, my desires are the echoes of life's desires to experience itself by means of me. And that is the truth. That is the spiritual truth of your being. You did not come here to live a meager life, to live a life of struggle, to be downtrodden or burdened or oppressed. Actually, Holmes tells us in the Science of Mind textbook, God is more completely expressed through the one who lives largely than through the one who lives meagerly. And yet I know some of us are struggling right now and feeling downtrodden, burdened, and oppressed, and living meagerly. I get that, and I understand that, and I want you to know something very, very important. You have come to the right place this morning. If you chose to log on and watch this morning, it's the perfect morning for you because there's something here for you. Something in a song that is sung, in a prayer that is offered, in a word that is said, or in the smile or contact that occurs between you and someone here. So be aware that that is true and you will receive it. Because life is yearning and longing and wanting and desiring to express through you. And today we're going to let the question, what would I love, be our guide. And usually when we think of letting love be our guide, we think in terms of the way we relate to people or in terms of the place from which we made our decisions and choices, right? We want to come from a place of love when we relate to others, right? And we want to come from a place of love when we make our decisions. And that is good, very good. But this morning, I mean it in an additional context. I mean it in the context of letting what you would love be your guide in what you focus on and letting what you love guide you, spend your time, your talent, and your resources. So what if you did that? If you think about it, every single invention, every discovery, and every human creation came from someone letting what they love guide them. If it were not for the love of the Wright brothers, we could not fly in an airplane. And if it were not for the love of scientists, inventors, and discoverers, we would not have electricity, heating, or light. We would not have cars or phones or appliances or computers to use. Without someone letting love be their guide, there would be no teachers, schools, or education. There would be no books, no art, no music. Each and every one of these things are created because someone answered the question, what would I love? And then they let the answer to that question guide them. In the book, The Power, written by Rhonda Burns, it says, people who have great lives think and talk about what they love more than what they don't love. And people who are struggling think and talk about what they don't love more than what they do love. And in the Science of Mind textbook, Holmes writes this: whatever we think, act, believe in, feel, visualize, vision, image, read, and talk about. In fact, all processes which affect or impress us at all are going into the subjective state of our thought, which is our individualized use of universal mind. Whatever goes into the subjective state of our thought tends to return again as some condition. So we, and we alone, control our destiny. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. So you may say, this is all well and good, but I'm struggling just to make ends meet. I've got no time or energy or resources or focus on what I love. And what I want to say about that, my friends, with a great deal of love in my heart, is that you are telling yourself a lie and then you are believing it. I'm not saying to quit your day job so you can become an artist, if that is what you would love. But what if you spent some time each day seeing yourself as an artist and then spent another few minutes doing something an artist would do? That's what I'm talking about. Then what if you neutralized your emotional engagement with the struggle pattern of whatever is going on? Yes, deal with what needs to be dealt with, but do it with a little emotional involvement possible. And then get your focus back on what you would love. And when you do that, what we call our opportunity awareness expands. When our mindset becomes open, then our awareness of opportunities that are available, many of which have been available all along, but which we couldn't see, it's much broader. This person thinks and does things differently. And just in case you think that you have to do this all by yourself, I want you to know you don't. In fact, we are given a great promise in Psalms 37:4. And this is in the Lamb's version of the Bible. Trust in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. That's a pretty direct promise, I would say. The desires of our heart shall come to pass if what? If we play our part, and our part is so important that it is mentioned twice. Trust in the Lord, and ye shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. What is it? What is it? What must we trust? I want to share a true story of a congregant of one of my minister colleagues. It's about a woman named Laura. Laura was having a real rough day, upset, unhappy, and angry, crying, and generally not being very nice to anyone who crossed her path. Definitely not trusting in God or in good. Definitely not loving her life. She went to the bank to deposit her paycheck through a drive-up teller with one of those pneumatic tubes. And the teller was very kind and kept trying to support Laura. How may I help you? Is there something I can do for you? She kept asking, but Laura coldly replied, no, just cash my check. The teller then said to her, I'm sending you something back when I send you your deposit slip. It came in an envelope and Laura threw it on the seat next to her. She didn't even open it, not then anyway. Let me pause here for a moment and just tell you some background on Laura's story. To tell you another story that Laura had heard several years ago in a Sunday service. And when Laura was describing her encounter with the teller, she said that this story had always stuck with her. Although on that day, she had forgotten it. She had completely forgotten it. And the story goes like this. The woman was lying in a hospital bed near death when a beautiful young woman came to visit her. And the visitor spent loving time with the patient, listening to her and offering her comfort. And when the visitor left, she gave the patient a small gift. It was a tiny ceramic frog. The patient thought it a bit odd, but frankly was too ill to really care, so she asked the visitor to place it on the shelf over her head. And shortly after the visit, the patient rallied and experienced a seemingly miraculous recovery. A nurse entered the room, and after checking on the patient's somewhat in disbelief at her turnaround, she noticed the ceramic frog sitting on the shelf. And as she looked at the little frog, she said, "This explains your recovery. You have a guardian angel." And the patient was confused, so the nurse continued, "I've seen a number of these little frogs in patients' rooms, and every single one of them miraculously recovered." It was delivered by a beautiful young woman, wasn't it? And every such patient has described her, yet no one except those patients has ever seen her. And if you turn the frog upside down, you just might understand. The patient did just that and found written on the bottom of the little ceramic figure the letters FROG, followed by the words, "Fully rely on God." Now back to Laura. When she got in her car the day after her encounter with the bank teller, she saw the envelope the teller had given her and remembered that the teller said she was going to send her back something. So when she opened the envelope, what do you suppose she found? You guessed it. A little green frog on the end of a keychain. A tangible, real reminder that she can truly, completely, and fully rely on God. And we can truly, completely, and fully rely on God as well to bring forth the desires of our heart. Because remember, by the time they get to us, they are the echo of life's desire to express itself. And again, Ernest Holmes writes, "Begin to blot out one by one all false beliefs, all ideas that you are limited, poor, or miserable. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience." That's another way of saying what you would love. And you look at nothing else. Cannot the great principle of life create for us all that we need? The universe is inexhaustible. It is limitless, knows no bounds, and has no confines. We are not depending on a reed shaken by the wind, but on the principle of life itself. For all that we have or ever shall need, it is not some power or a great power. It is all power. All we have to do is to believe, never wavering, no matter what happens. And as we do this, we shall find that things are steadily coming our way and that they are coming without that awful effort, which destroys the peace of mind of the majority of the race. We know that there can be no failure in God's mind, and this mind is the power of which we are depending. So I ask you this morning, what would you love? Pick one thing right now, just one thing. Maybe it's a healed relationship, a relationship at all, success in your business, or releasing a business, a deeper connection with the God of your being, a return to physical vibrancy, restoring a broken heart, maybe to plant flowers or to create art. Whatever it is that you aspire to, that you dream of, that you would love to get an image of it right now. You close your eyes. Visualize it and see yourself in it. See yourself letting it guide your way as you move into this new year, ending with love being fluently spoken here. And so it is.